Good morning, Springfield and the Ozarks. This is Silver Lines. I'm your host, Steve McAllister, and we're looking forward to a Christmas show today. And we're going to be talking about Christmas and Christmas music, and we've got a lot of good stuff for you. Matt, stop laughing. um, anyway, we want to thank you guys for joining us today. And Christmas means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to you. And I just want to take this time real quickly to say thank you to Axe Media Group and Matt and Jim and Pam and whoever else is involved in this. Merry Christmas, and may your New Year's be bright. And may the days be bright. And your New Year's be blessed is how I'll put it. It's supposed to be a nice Christmas weather-wise. We're looking mid-60s, and then I heard 75 Christmas Eve. Ooh, man. Time to barbecue or not bring out the bathing suit, but just oh, yeah, you don't want to see me in a bathing suit. No. I'm not modeling. Maybe when I lose.
Just say no to the
Speedo. Let's go Speedo. I mean,
yeah, I can see Tawana laughing there because everybody's thinking of you in a Speedo modeling. Make sure they're not green. You're in front of the camera.
Well, then, hey, I'd be invisible. Except for the.
At least that part of you will be.
Yes.
Like, this is some weird. What do you call that? What do they call that? Whenever you rate stuff, or you censor. It's weird censorship.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that sometime.
Kind of a black bar is just like your midsection. Come on. All right.
Oh man.
So tell us about your guest, Steve.
Yes. By the way, this is my last show for this year.
Is it?
Yeah, it'll be. I'm sure you'll have something like a rerun or something next week, but this is the last live show until January 5th. So.
Okay, and you're going to start at 9.
Yes, and I'm going to be. Thank you for letting me know, folks. I was starting an hour later, so you can sleep in a little bit. So can we. Yay! So it starts at 9. So let's get down to brass tactics here.
Brass tactics.
My guest today, you've seen her on. You've heard her once before. You've seen her once before, and she's a friend of all of us here at Axe Media. She knows Jim and Pam, and so we're going to bring Tawana Albert on. And where is she? Oh, there she is. Hey, Tawana, how are you?
Doing really good. I have my tea and have my vitamins. Had my shower,
good.
so I'm awake.
So you and I both, I think, got up at the same time, didn't we? No, I left at 6:30. You got up at 6:30.
I got up at 6:30, but 6:30 is not my time usually.
Well, it's not my time either. That's why I'm moving to 9. So then 7:30 will be my new time.
Oh, that's good.
So we're all.
Well, us musicians generally are known for a little bit later sleep-ins unless we have to get up.
That's right. And so for Matt and I, it's going to be an hour extra sleep, and it doesn't include that. What do you call it? Our daylight savings time. Hey, it doesn't matter to us, except it's earlier, I think. Anyway,
I got it.
Was it? I forgot. You said you asked me last night. Was it dark when you got up, or was it starting to get light?
That I recall that it was starting to get light. It wasn't 100% out yet. The sun.
Yeah, by the time
I was
got
just
here,
thinking
though,
about getting myself awake.
That's right. So we have a lot to talk about, including one of your I think it was number one not here in the States, or was it Keep Christ in
It was
Christmas?
here in the States. It's a radio station in Kansas. It was an FM station.
Okay, I thought you said it was number one in another country, but it's been a while since we
Oh,
talked about it.
well,
So
we're talking about my song "Keep Christ in Christmas," and it
yes,
did get a lot of international airplay. But it did get
yes.
played here in the States, and I did shortly after I released the song some years back. A radio DJ had a top Christmas countdown for that year, and it included people that you always think of when you think of Christmas music: Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith, Stephen Curtis Chapman, and a bunch of other label and independent artists. And I was informed to listen, and I had no idea that the DJ had picked my song as number one that year. And it was
Wow.
kind of a long
You were
story,
number
but I
one
didn't
above
even hear
Amy
the
Grant?
announcement. I was listening. I was at my parents' in Southeast Oklahoma that night, and I'd had a rough day. And they have dial up. And so the radio show kept going in and out. And finally, when they came down to the last one, I'm like, well, maybe it's not on there. Maybe he just, whatever, or I missed it. And so then when the internet kicked back in, it was playing my song, Keep Christ in Christmas. And I was like really, really happy about that. And the following year, I did use a radio promoter, and I got a lot, even more than in the States, airplay internationally in countries like Russia, Italy, Canada, the UK. God totally floored me on that. But I still
Wow.
remember writing this song, and when we were in production with my producer who produced it for me, Jeff Nelson, who did an excellent job as always, and we used a Nashville A team for our studio musicians. And I got frustrated because he said, hey, try to get this done while I'm out of the country. He was, I think, going to South Korea at the time or something. He's a musician himself. And I would get writer's block, and I remember wadding up the paper and throwing it. I mean, I do use the computer and stuff, but sometimes there's just nothing like taking a pen and just writing on paper. And so I went back. You step away when you get frustrated, right? As a songwriter. And I had written some stuff a few weeks before that. And I'm like, hey, you know what? This might work. And so when he came back home, I shared that with him, and he said, hey, this will go. And so we did everything online, and I got to hear the band produce the song. And the rest is from there. And this is the one out of my whole Just Sing CD that's gotten the most airplay. And of course, obviously, it's always to God's glory. And it's just something that, especially this year, it's something to remember when you get into the Christmas season.
Yeah, and I've noticed. I don't know if you've seen it. You probably have, but I've noticed a lot of nativity scenes lately, either on Facebook or I've seen it where they actually have Santa Claus actually kneeling by the manger.
I've been
And
looking for that one.
pardon?
I've been looking for that. I've been wanting to get one and put that in my yard with Santa Claus
Yeah.
bowing down to baby Jesus.
Now I don't know if they have like the big plastic figures of Santa Claus doing that, but I have seen the smaller nativity scenes that you put in your living room where they've actually had Santa Claus. Now I've seen a lot of pictures, so maybe they're getting the point. Even Santa Claus is getting the point where Jesus is the reason for the season, and
Mhm.
even Santa Claus bows down to Jesus, and so that should tell people something.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing. That's why I'd love
So
to have that in my yard.
yeah, I don't know. You know what? That'd be cool if they ever made a big plastic lighted figure of Santa Claus doing that. Now I haven't seen anything like that personally, but it might be out there. I don't know.
It's an
Um,
idea. If it's not, then somebody ought to come up with it and I guess make a lot of money off of it. But not for the money part, but but it would be cool. I'd be one of the first people to buy it.
well, that's great. So actually, so would I, because actually when I did a program a skit or whatever you like drama. We actually had I was Santa Claus, and I actually bowed down at the manger at the end, and people said, you know, that's the first time I think we've seen where Santa Claus actually in a play ever did that. So um, it's different, and people need to realize that Jesus is the reason for the season. And Santa Claus. Now there is the story of Saint Nicholas. You know,
Hmm.
he gave gifts on that, and so I think that's where that took off. But
Hmm.
the spirit of Santa Claus can be within you without believing in Santa Claus. I don't know if you've heard
Yeah,
that
I mean,
before.
with the spirit of giving, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
really important to remember because there's so many people that get involved in the commercialism of Christmas. And even if you're not that person, it's easy to get caught up in the busyness of the season. You have all these Christmas performances, which, of course, we talked about my daughter off air. She was involved with a show choir called Joyful Sound. She's still involved with it, but they were um, going to different places to do concerts, what they call their ministry season. And
mhm.
I know it was probably in the neighborhood of 20 plus concerts within a matter of 2 weeks. So I was chauffeur and taking her back and forth. We didn't go to every one, but I had that in addition to her homeschool stuff because I'd have to take her to her co-ops, but she'd do most of the homeschool work at home. And so I was
Mhm.
involved with that and trying to get everything ready for Christmas. And Thanksgiving is kind of I guess you'd say, the entryway of our Christmas season because I went down to Oklahoma to see my mom and some of my family members. And it's just been nonstop. And Crystal was sick for 2 weeks during that time, too. And then
Right.
I decided to get a real tree this year. First one I've had since I've been married. And
Yeah, that's what she
found
was.
out how much work they are.
That's what I read. You know, you finally got a live Christmas tree.
Yeah, and did lots of trimming on it. And about 3 or 4 nights ago, I climbed up the ladder. It was late because I was wanting to get it done and I wasn't paying attention. Stepped down, and the step was farther down than I thought, and I landed on the floor.
Ugh,
And
again.
it hurt, but God protected me. And I just was sore for 3 days, about 3 or 4 days. And when I landed, actually, because I started out putting my hands out like this, and then when I noticed I wasn't going to stop there, I thought to do this. And I
Hmm.
really think it was the Lord leading me to do that because I had injured my head a few months ago. A lot of people don't know about that. And so
They
the
do
worst thing I
now.
could have done. Yeah, they do now. That's a long story on that one. But I think this could have made things worse because, we mentioned about me having eye surgery a few years ago too, which God healed me on that. And so, I just think I need to be a little bit more careful. But that just made me realize just how much we can get involved with things. And as far as we getting things ready for the Christmas season and stuff, and that we forget about the most important stuff because I could have been in bed at that time sleeping and not been injured and could have waited till the next day to finish up my tree. And so after that happened, Michael came down and checked on me, make sure I was okay because he heard the fall and heard me. And, and so he wouldn't allow me on the ladder after that. And he finished up the Christmas tree as far as any high work was concerned. So I was thankful for that. But it was just a constant reminder, of what's important, not to make other things a priority above what the season was really about. Because you sometimes wonder, you know, what God thinks about how we celebrate Christmas. And of course, there's people all over the world that don't know Jesus or may not even
True.
acknowledge him that celebrate Christmas. And so I think it's that important for us to be salt and light, to be able to show people what the difference is. And something some years back that people weren't doing, some of the retailers, which was what prompted my song. It was Walmart and Target there for a little bit would not say Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
And so
I
that
remember
prompted
that.
me to write this. And so every chance I get, I say Merry Christmas. And I have my manger scene outside, Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus, the ones that you buy at Walmart. and have a light
Right.
around it with a few lights. And then I have a sign on it, or right next to it, that says "Keep Christ in Christmas," real big. And I drive around with it on my car too. I have a car tag, but not to necessarily promote my song or anything, but just to remind people what Christmas is about. And as a Christian, we may not have a tree up for 365 days a year. There may be people that do, but most people don't. But as a Christian, I feel like that we should celebrate Christ's birth and his burial and resurrection and his presence in our life and God in our life every single day of the year.
Right.
Because
So,
he's what makes a difference in this world.
right. So, what influenced you to write the song anyway? Was it just because of a personal testimony, or somebody said something and you said, I never thought about it that way, or you've always thought that way, but you just put it down in words and God inspired you with the lyrics? What
I
happened?
got angry. I got angry because
Okay.
Walmart and Target were making such a big deal about it. I mean, I didn't
Right.
like it anyway. Oh, let's not say Merry Christmas anymore. We might offend someone.
Right.
And I'm like, excuse me. And so I just started writing. I'm like, hey, this can be a song. And I presented it to Jeff, and he's like, yeah, go ahead and write this. And so, I mean, I was just irritated with the fact that everybody was too busy about being politically correct. I mean, even if you're not a Christian, Merry Christmas is a phrase that's been around for ages. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not going to quit saying Merry Christmas. It's a tradition, just because somebody's like, well, I'm not a Christian. I don't acknowledge Christ, so I'm not going to say Merry Christmas. I mean, of course, obviously, I acknowledge Christ, and I have a personal relationship with him. But the point of it is whether someone's a Christian or not, it's tradition. I mean, why take out tradition? And on a personal level, as a Christian, I don't like the fact that they're trying to take Christ out of Christmas. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just started writing that song, and of course, as you know, what we came up with, and I do have that posted up on my website for people that want to hear it. And we were discussing, of course, we had some technical issues this morning, just getting on
Right.
the air. But I'm glad that we didn't do the other thing. Although I would have loved to have done it, that I was actually going to perform it live on your show today. That was what the
Yeah.
surprise was for those who saw my Facebook post. I was going to perform
But
"Keep Christ in Christmas" live, but things didn't work out. So if you would like to hear it, you're welcome to go on to tawanamusic.com. I'm still adding some stuff because I had my website down for a little while, and I'm putting it back up again. And as
yay.
COVID is starting to leave now, um, we can maybe start getting out more in public and stuff, and just praying for whatever doors that God opens, that God can provide ministry opportunities. And maybe I can start going out and sharing some more of my songs out in public with everyone. And I've got some new ones that are in the process that are very close. So, FYI to a certain producer that I might be contacting pretty soon. And we got two that I still haven't gotten to the studio yet that's fully produced. I just need to get my vocals on. So, we're looking to see what God's going to do in 2022, and believing that we can start as a society to start going out again soon without any worries about catching COVID.
Yeah, there are
Fortunately,
some
I've been
artists that are doing
blessed
that
in
now.
that. Well, I had my third shot day before yesterday, and by the grace of God, I never caught it. But I found out one of my very best friends, which I won't mention her name because I don't know if she wants that to be private or not, but she caught it. She lives in Indiana, and she actually had to go to the hospital, which fortunately wasn't her time. So she's pretty much getting over the symptoms, which I know a lot of people have dealt with that, and I've had some families members that I've lost due to COVID, and some people that I've known. But God can get us through anything, and what a better way of
Amen.
putting our focus on God and on Jesus and what He did for us in this Christmas season, and just moving the commercial out of the way, commercialism at Christmas, and focusing on Him and forgetting about all the negative stuff that the news media tries to tell us, which who knows what's true and what isn't these days. And just
Right.
knowing that, God's going to get us through no matter what season of life that we're in or what we're dealing with, even on a global basis, and that we just trust him no matter what and know that, we're going to make it. He's going to carry us through.
Yep, it's about the cross, and it's not about the presents, and it's not about jingle bells. It's about the cross. Essentially, that
Amen.
there's a
I agree
song
with
that I
that.
know that it's about the cross. It's not about all that other stuff. And just like keeping
Hmm.
Christ in Christmas, yes, he was
Hmm.
born in a manger, but then 32, 33 years later, he died on the cross for our sins. And so that was an ultimate gift. He waited that long to give us that
Amen.
ultimate gift.
Yeah, the bridge of my song is exactly that. It says, past the manger scene, God's love was nailed to a tree, which technically, is another way of saying the cross.
Hmm.
And, but we have to remember that. I mean, to me, if we forget about Jesus, then what's the point? Except for just, oh, well, family time and just presents. But, there's a lot of people alone at Christmas too. And that's something else, because I think about, different people who may be, a widow whose husband or wife might have passed. And it's very important if you have family members or just know of someone like that at your church or even in the community to reach out to them, see how they're doing, maybe invite them for Christmas dinner if they're local,
Hmm.
or, see what you can do for them. I know there's a retirement center here in my community called The Village, and which was ironically the video that you saw of my daughter
Right.
that
Which
of
great
her
job.
skiing with
Good
joy.
job.
Thank you. And but they're gathering presents for the residents and for the nursing staff that work there. And um, Joyful Sound, I don't know if they were aware of it or not, but because I live in this community, they have a Facebook page and they
Hmm.
posted it. And so we're going to see what we can do about that. And also, too, it's a time to think about families in need that might need something as well. Because I think, these performances, like Christmas plays and stuff, are important. And it might be one of the very few times a year that some people will even darken the door of a church. But I think more serving is reaching out to people that might be in need. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like doing a service project. And so I think that that's something that we should focus on too. But the other thing, even more important than that, is to do these acts of kindness and services, be Jesus, 365 days a year. But this is a good time, even that much more, to remember to do that. And there's a lot of charitable organizations out there that do try to help homeless people or people that may be underemployed, that, might need a little extra help or have kids that they can't buy Christmas presents for. I know KSBJ, which is down here in Houston, they were doing a foster kid program where you could donate presents for foster kids that are in foster care. And so there's a whole slew of things for, if you're looking for do something to help somebody else, there's definitely lots of opportunities, especially this time of year, to do that. And it's just, showing people that, Jesus cares and showing the people that, that Christians, you know, are real and that it's not just about us being part of a club. And, because God wants us to, carry out the Great Commission. And that's one of the ways that we can do that. I mean, not just for lost people, but just to show people his love. And our family is doing some things to try to make that happen on a personal level. So I
Right.
just wanted to bring that up
So
because I
what
think
are
that's
you
important.
right? So now let's kind of have some fun a little bit. Well, so what are your favorite Christmas memories?
My favorite Christmas memories.
Hmm.
One of them would be taking my daughter to Santa's Wonderland in College Station, which was
Okay.
really cool. They have a hayride there that you ride on, and you get to see all these Christmas lights. And at the end, there's showing Jesus rising up from the grave. which is really cool.
Hmm.
And then they had like a live band there, which she probably wouldn't appreciate it very well if I had the video to show you. But she was so cute. She was about 4 or 5 years old, and she was dancing around, just
Aw.
spontaneous, which was kind of cool. And so I really enjoyed that. And then there was one time, if my mother's watching this, I'm probably getting in trouble. When I was a little kid, I'm having to get up in the middle of the night, and we were living out in this little country area called West Liberty that's close to the town that I'm from, Quinton, Oklahoma.
Hmm.
And I woke up and I saw the Christmas tree all lit up with all the Christmas presents, and I had my bike there. And I was like all excited. And then I thought, oh, I better hurry and get to bed. If they see me up, I'm going to get in trouble. And so I went back to bed. And then the next day, I remember um, the video game and stuff that they were got, and playing tennis on the game that we were doing and stuff. But it was just so exciting just to, because you, as a kid, seeing the Christmas tree with nothing there, and then all of a sudden seeing all the Christmas presents there. It was just kind of an exciting thing, and I really enjoyed that. And I'll let you go ahead. There's something else I thought about sharing, but it's not so much fun, but it's just remembering things that had to do with my daughter a few years ago. But if you want to hear about it, you can let me know.
Okay. Well, one of my favorite Christmas memories, you said something about getting up in the middle of the night and looking and watching or looking at the Christmas presents or the tree being all lit up. Well, I did the same thing. My nephew was spending the night with me, and my brother was at home. Of course, he was living at home at the time, and so my nephew always loved to take and get apples in the middle of the night. Hey, Uncle Steve, let's go get an apple. And I'm like, it's Christmas Eve. I know. And I said, what? No, 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 no. You're not going to, no. I know what your plan is. And he said, oh, come on. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what Santa brought us. I'm like, oh, so now it's not the apple, it's what Santa wanted to bring. So we did. And long story short of that, ended up, I ended up making a certain noise that just kind of, we started laughing. And my brother got up, and all of a sudden, next thing I know is my brother's got me by the ear and by my nephew by the ear and saying, "Let's go to bed now."
Just trying to find a reason to stay up.
And I was like, "Oh man!" We were all excited about one. Ooh, look at that! Ooh, look at that! And then we didn't want to go to bed because we thought, "Oh man, as soon as we go to bed, it's going to be forever." Um,
Oh, yeah.
so so we did. We went back to bed, and I just got glares from my brother
Funny.
for getting up, and I'm like, "Ooh!" I acted surprised, and he goes, "Yeah, you're really surprised, aren't you?"
See, you're the uncle, so you can get away with spoiling your nephew, and you're the parent, it's
Yeah,
a little bit different.
yeah.
Now, the
So
one
my
thing I
brother
do know
remembered
about,
that.
yeah, one
Actually,
thing that we used to, oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Go
That's
ahead.
okay. I was letting you go. Um, One thing that we have done regularly on Christmas Eve, but I haven't done this year, things have been kind of different and all, is that we're usually singing in a choir at a Christmas program.
Mhm.
And the thing the last couple of years is I've had to get more creative with hiding Christmas presents from my daughter.
I
She's almost 12 now, and it's getting difficult.
can't believe it.
I can't either. She was what, 16 months old when you met us in person?
Yes, yes.
We were doing that wildfire benefit, and you were emceeing my event and everything.
She was 16 months
That,
old.
yeah, she's going on 16 now, but not literally.
What?
She's not 16.
I was
She
going
just
to
acts like
say.
it.
Well, you know what? Sometimes I think she acts like it or wants to.
Well, she's an only child, and I think sometimes only children tend to act a little bit older. But she's, you know, she's beautiful inside and out, and I'm very proud of her. And so
Hmm.
I try to affirm her a lot because that's important for a girl's self-esteem as they're growing up. And she has a really good relationship with my husband and I, and her dad spends a lot of time with her. And, and he's always doing things with her. And so, dad is more of the fun and I'm more of the taking care of stuff. And but I mean, she's definitely a daddy's girl and everything, but she's growing up on us. They had a Christmas program in addition to the ministry thing with Joyful Sound, and she had a formal on. And granted, she's almost 12, right?
Right.
And they had her gear up, and I looked at her, and I'm like, this is not a little girl anymore. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, Michael, look at Krista. She looks like a young woman. She looks beautiful, which I thought she was beautiful no matter what age she is. But
Yeah.
she's losing a little kid look, in other words.
Yeah.
Puberty's going
That
on.
baby
And
face. It's that baby face that's starting to go away a little bit.
yeah, and I'm like thinking to myself, Dad, do you have any guns on hand to keep the boys away? But yeah, it's been pretty much about her and just rushing back and forth and through traffic and going to the stores because I don't have patience down here in Houston. Everybody likes to buy things up. I mean, even Christmas decorations have been a challenge, and I've been trying to decorate in a nautical theme this year because last year I had my tree in storage and all my decorations were in storage, and we have a lot of sentimental stuff. But I couldn't even get to those last year. We moved into this house in November, and so we
Right.
were immediately decorating for Christmas. And I ended up getting blue and silver ornaments, and so I thought, well, I'll add to that. And I mean, it's been a pain trying to find nautical stuff. But we're going to take the fake tree. I'm going to check see if there's any damage because it's been tossed around in storage, and we're going to put that up on the second floor and put like all the sentimental stuff on it. So we're getting
Wow.
there, and but I'm just so ready to be done with decorating and stuff, and just hearing my song and knowing that this interview was coming up, I'm like, and I have my decoration outside and the sign that says "Keep Christ in Christmas," is to remember what it's about, and
Right.
not stress out. I would like it if my family lived closer to me. I have family in San Antonio in Austin from the Albert side. And then I have my brother in Dallas, my younger brother. But then all the rest of my family are in Southeast Oklahoma and Michigan. And so sometimes, because it's such a drive and everything,
It
you
is.
kind of miss being with immediate family. But, we did get to see them Thanksgiving and stuff. And so if any of y'all are watching, I want to tell you, of course, I will be calling my mom, if you're listening, Mom, as well as my older brother and my sister and my younger brother. Of course, I think my younger brother's on a cruise right now. For y'all to have a Merry Christmas, and I will tell you that, as well as extended friends from all over the country, because I have friends from all over the country. I know people from everywhere, which that reminds me, a shout out to the Wines to say Merry Christmas, and Dr. Paul, and of course Rachel, if Rachel's listening at this point. And but I just want everybody to have a Merry Christmas. And and the biggest thing is just remember to keep Christ at the center whenever things are getting stressed. And we're going to get through this COVID stuff, and God is still in control. And and we're going to go on, and we just need to remind people what the real reason for the season is, and celebrate that in our lives. you know 365 days a year. Of course, that doesn't mean you have to have a Christmas tree up all the time, though. But
Some people
that's
do.
the central. That's the central. That's the heart of Christmas is Jesus, and that's what it is for me, and that'll never change.
Amen. So yeah, well, man, I can't believe time's almost flown here. We've only got a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna say goodbye to you, but then I'm gonna say goodbye to my audience. But I too am so thrilled that every Christmas since we've been down here, every year it's changed. It's gotten so there was some bad, there was some good, but I think the good outweighed the bad, and you think about the bad or you think about the good, and there was more positive than negative, and I just appreciate everything that like the team here at Axe Media. I've been here 3 years, I guess, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. So, and I've known you now for almost 11 years. No, this last November it was 10 years. Yeah, 10 years that I got a chance to meet you. So, and I appreciate
Yeah,
your
Michael
friendship.
Langston mentioned that too. It was like, you guys remember the exact day of the wildfire benefit, and I was like, oh yeah, that was it at this date. We helped out some families that lost their home. That was
Yeah.
cool.
So I appreciate,
Now,
and so Merry Christmas to you, Krista and Michael. And I expect a card. Don't you? I really am just
yeah,
kidding.
Merry Christmas to you too, Steve. You know what? I can't even find Christmas cards and Christmas messages.
Yeah,
Believe it or
there's
not.
a
I mean,
lot of
it's
things
crazy
sold
down
out.
here.
Anyway, so
We'll
I'm
see
gonna.
what I can do. But if you
Oh
guys
yeah.
want to hear my song, if you have not heard my song before called "Keep Christ in Christmas," I don't know if Steve's going to be saying this or not. Are you, Steve? I'm going to tell him where
Yes.
to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let Steve tell you where to find it,
Okay.
where you can
Or
hear it.
you can go ahead real quick and say where to find it. You can go ahead.
Yeah, this is my gift to all y'all. Okay, everybody who has been with us this morning, even at the 8 o'clock hour when we were having technical difficulties. I do appreciate that, and my apologies. I don't know what the problem was with my phone. We think it might have been on my end, but we took care of it. And Matt and Steve are awesome, and we got it up and going. And of course, we did it on my PC. So thankful for that, and I'm thankful for you guys who've joined us, whether it be as early as 8 or if you joined us at 9. But you can find my song on tawanamusic.com. I've had the website down for a little while, and I just got it back up yesterday, and I'm needing to do some updates. But there is going to be some new information on there too if you browse the site. And I am available for concerts for those who might be doing booking for the coming 2022 year. And haven't talked to Steve yet, but I have a feeling he's going to be probably doing some work for me. But
Yes.
we'd love to see what we can do to serve you. So TawanaMusic.com is where you can listen to Keep Christ in Christmas, and I hope it blesses you through this Christmas season.
Thank you, and thank you once again, Tawana. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, and thank you, Acts Ministry. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Matt. God bless you.
You too. Well, that'll do it for this edition, and we'll see you again January 5th. Stay tuned next for Changing Times with Don Blackard, and I think Len Morris. Is he on vacation?
No, Lynn Morris is here.
Okay.
We're have Chief Meteorologist Ron Hirschbach.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you later. Take care. God loves you, so do we.